Welcome to this video. I want to talk about freedom of speech, where I think it's been destroyed by the global elites, the leftists, the likes of Antifa, and people on the right as well as the centre are being shut down. All you have to do is look at Alex Jones and InfoWars in America, where the big tech companies colluded with each other to get rid of him. And they're doing the same thing with Tommy Robinson. His website has been taken down by GoDaddy. He can't use PayPal because they've been banned off that. And I'm wondering at the moment, who's next? Who's the next big name going to go? Is it going to be a channel like me? Because that's what Alex Jones said originally. He said, first it will be me, then it will be you. And you know what? He's absolutely right. You know, all you have to do is look at what the big tech companies have been doing. And I think it's time that the US got to grips and gave some sort of amendment to the Bill of Rights and to the First and Second Amendments that give you freedom of speech on social media, and they cannot remove you for your political views. To be honest, that's communism, isn't it? That's Nazi Germany sort of actions. Removing you just because they don't like your view, or communist China shoving you in a prison because they don't like what you say, or old apartheid in South Africa with Nelson Mandela shoving him into a prison because they don't like what he says. This is what dictatorships do. And these stupid laws that we've got in the UK that have been introduced, hate laws, you know, 900 coppers to monitor fucking Facebook bloody messages, pardon my language, and the likes of me will probably end up getting arrested at some point. You know, Tommy Robinson stands up for these children that have been raped by these rape gangs. And while I don't agree with everything he says, you know, and to be honest, when he did get sent down to prison, it was illegal. The only thing I will say is he did come out of that situation a bit rosier than he went in, with £250,000 being donated to him, so that he's got hanging around for any sort of other legal actions that are taken after he paid his lawyers. So he is a bit richer than he went in. And let's face it, Tommy Robinson isn't skin. If you look at his net worth, he's worth well over £1 million. Same being of Nigel Farage, you know, his activist work that he's done trying to get us out of the EU. His net worth is over 2 million. He actually has a house that's worth 4 million. It's quite funny though. Nigel Farage claims to be one of the people, and yet not every one of us has a £4 million house, do we? So he's recently been criticising Tommy Robinson and won't even debate with him, which I think is a bit condescending, you know. Why won't you debate with him? Anyway, that's not what I'm doing this video for. I'm concerned about how this country's going, and I can see this country becoming an Islamic country in the next 50 years. You know, our forefathers died in various wars for us to have self-determination to run our own country as we see fit, and not be run by Nazi Germany. And yet, slowly but surely, we've been more or less run by Brussels in the EU. And it's about time we got some balls and got out of the EU and started forging our own destiny. But the reason I wanted to talk in this video about freedom of speech is I feel it's been eroded. You know, we've got 900 police officers monitoring hate speech on Facebook. Can you believe that? Rather than dealing with crimes. And I can see a civil war in the future coming to this country, where there will be a war between races, and it will be similar to what's happening at the moment in South Africa with the whites versus the blacks, you know, because the land's been taken away by the government. They've started doing that now, very recently, and farmers are losing their farms, just like what happened in Zimbabwe. But interesting enough, you might want to know this, But in Zimbabwe, right, the farmers have been asked to come back and given a 100-year lease. So there's a bit of hypocrisy there, isn't it? Where you got rid of them, now you want them back because you're screwed. You need them to do the farming for the country, to feed the country. That's what's going to happen in South Africa if they go the way they're going to keep going. A police officer recently said that in 2 years there will be no more whites. So what are you saying? There's going to be a war between whites and blacks? Or are you going to just genocide all the whites there? Or are they just going to leave because countries are giving them asylum, such as Australia did and Russia? It's becoming worrying times, isn't it? Where you can be removed off the internet just because of your political views. And I think a new party will come about because the people in the government, the global elites, the MPs, Theresa May, don't represent the people. They represent their own interests, the interests of their own party, not the interests of this country. So I feel it's going to be a very difficult, rocky future, and I can see a party coming to fruition, just like Five Star did in Italy, where I think Labour and the Conservatives are too similar to be considered alternatives, and there must be a new party that comes along, where I think the government will have a nasty shock if that happens. Suddenly they'll realise we're not going to be running the country anymore, another party will be, and hopefully that party will have views on immigration, views on defence, views on fisheries and leaving the EU that will be contrary to their views, and things will change very quickly, and it will be a very difficult transition. And you know what? There's a lot of riots going off in France. I think that will happen in the UK in the future, but many, many times worse, because the pressure will build and build and build, and then there'll be a massive release, and then suddenly there'll be riots all over this country. I don't want to see that happen, but unless the government starts listening to us, stops introducing stupid laws that shut people down, at the moment it just feels like freedom of speech is being destroyed. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this session. Bye bye.